welcome to the inaugural first ever summit at the Pier. Woo! And this is Jeff Hopkins. And up on stage with me, of course, is Sir Ken Robinson.
To be born at all is a miracle. So what are you going to do with your life? And it's a question I believe you here. You're not here that long. You owe it to yourself to discover your real talents, your real abilities, your real passions, and live this unique life that only you can live, and not try to live somebody else's life.
Summit at the Pier is designed for grade 9 to 12 students to be able to come and collaboratively experience building, their creative confidence, working together in those groups. That collaboration piece is so important. I think that these students are, really poised to make real change, and Summit at the Pier is really exists to allow them the space to do that and to provide them with the tools and resources to do that. So all of the facilitators that are here, from politics to business to education, they all have a diverse range of skills and resources that are available to them in the world that they can share with these young people.
Lucas, give me your impression of the summit so far.
Well, so far the summit's been really great. I've seen lots of kids working together from all over Victoria and even further away. And the energy in this area just seems to be great. There's been tons of great ideas coming from all over the place.
The goal of our organization, the end goal of our organization would be to get youth more engaged in politics, because as of now, only 30% of youth actually go out to vote.
So we're trying to make affordable electric cars for people to try and make sure that people know that it's possible to convert them and make old cars more efficient.
Now, the reason I say the summit is important is because it's a chance, really, for us all to learn from each other, for teachers to be students and students to be teachers.
So, Ken Robinson talked a lot about the education system and how we need to reform it. What is your take on that?
My opinion on the education system as its current point is that the way that students are learning is not very practical for how the human brain learns in our day-to-day lives. As I believe that we need to put forth some significant reforms in our school systems if we want to be able to continue to teach our students as well as we are able.
I feel like everybody here is really unique. Everybody brings their own point of view, and it really allows the group as a whole to see the issue from every aspect.
The brilliant people, and most people are brilliant, pass through the whole system of education, and only some of them really discover the thing they're good at.
Well, some people, their strong suits may not be math and science, but they may be a talented dancer. And that's a perfectly viable career, but school systems are based on consistency and conformity. And I think we have to change that. And I think a lot of schools already are remedying that, like the Pacific School for National Inquiry. I think that's a very good example of this. I'm in a flex program at Reynolds, and that is a more student-driven program for school.
Kids love to learn. The problems tend to occur when we try to educate them.
The issue I talked about with my group was that we don't get to do what we really want to learn about in school. We don't get to learn about our passions or what we really enjoy.
We're working on a project to help show people that teenagers aren't always they're not always reckless, and they have good, valid ideas and points that we can put in action, and we could just make a difference.
It seems like we can actually accomplish something, which is amazing.
I think this generation is far more aware than any other generation.
I tell you this because I think it's very important you don't leave here unaware of the fact that I hang out with Paul McCartney. Anyway, Paul McCartney, or Paul, as I call him, went to school in Liverpool. And I asked him, for those of you who don't know this, the Beatles became the most important, most successful, most influential band in history. And I asked him if his music teacher thought he had any particular talents. He said no, he didn't. I said, did you like music at school? He said no. I thought it was really boring. One of the other people in the same music program was George Harrison, who was the lead guitarist of the popular music group, the Beatles. And I said to Paul McCartney, did your music teacher think that George had any talent? He said no. Well, he does, doesn't he? So I said, well, look, would this be fair to say this? That there was this one music teacher in Liverpool in the 1950s who had half the Beatles in his class, and he missed it. He said, that's right. Well, it's a bit of an oversight, isn't it? Anybody show any promise in your school, your class this year, Mr. Wilcox? Not really.
Could you look into your crystal ball and predict what do you think the future of education will look like in 20 years from now?
In 20 years from now, I think young youth will have more of a sense, I think, of what, how they can make a perfect balance between technology, because I think technology can affect our learning a lot. Like, for example, we're not really ones to, like, we mostly Google things, and we have to, like, for example, if we're looking at a word, we have to focus more on, like, reading it from the dictionary. We have to learn, we have to process information. So I think in the future, I hope that I think that we are going to be able to distinguish our balance and difference between technology and our actual learning to a different style. So I think it's a bright future. I really do.
The youth came and had an incredible experience and got inspired and fired up and excited about what they wanted to do in the world and how they wanted to contribute.
See, my point is this, that human beings like us are all born with immense talents, immense natural talents. Whether we discover them, or more importantly then, develop them, is another matter. But we have them. But I know all kinds of adults who think they don't, all kinds of kids at school who think they're not particularly good at anything. And my experience throughout my entire life has been that we're all good at something. There are all things that we all love to do, but the system as a whole is based on a very narrow view of ability. And the consequence is, if you have a narrow view of ability, you end up with a very big conception of inability. I want to thank you, particularly the students, for being here, and the teachers. It really is terribly important, I think. And what's most important about it, I think, is this final analogy, which is to recognize that we are natural creatures, and we are like the rest of the Earth's natural resources. We have a life cycle, we are organic in the way our lives evolve. We have untold talents, we need to find them and cultivate them, and to live more synergistically with each other and with the environment. And if we do that, we'll have a life that adds up to something. And we still won't be able to predict the future, we never could do that, but we'll have a future and we'll have helped to bring it about. So thank you very much and enjoy the rest of the day. Thank you.